How's it going, guys? In this video I'm going to show you guys how to attach a handle just like this. What are the steps and kind of stages that you really want everything to be in, and we'll get right to that.
So before we go too far, I think it's important to talk about scoring and how to attach actual pieces of pottery. So, when we're looking at our tools and things like that, you essentially just need a tool that's able to mark up your pots. So like this is just a couple of different little needles. This is an actual needle tool. This is a rib that's got kind of serrated teeth on it. I don't know if that's super visible. And then this is kind of just like a little wire brush. All right, and all of these things will effectively do the same job. Now, an important note is you will either need water or you're going to need a slip. And this is the same clay body as this right here. The only difference between this piece of clay and what's in this bucket is this has got a lot more water in it. So it's very soupy and kind of runny. So let's say you are making a handle. So this is, it might not look pretty, but it'll serve the purpose for kind of explaining things. You'll kind of line up your pottery to be attached, and you will then score your piece, which basically means you kind of scruff it up. And you could do that with a ton of different tools, and then there are more tools than just what I'm showing you, but these are just giving you kind of an example of what's doable. And it's all about, with tools mostly, it's all about saving time. And I don't think any of these tools are better than the other. It's just preference. Now, when it comes to actually attaching, you could do a little bit of water on one end. And when you stick these together, you're going to kind of wiggle them, and that will seat them together. Now this is a little bit of slip. Okay. And the thing is when you're attaching pieces, I'm not smoothing out what I've done. I've just dabbed the water on and dabbed the slip on. Okay, and then if I showed you, you can kind of see a difference. Like this, you no longer see the score marks, and it's kind of like a built-up paste. This works, your slip works more like a glue, but your water will also do the job. So it really just depends. If you're having a hard time getting things to stick, slip, I think it does a little bit better job than the water. And you're just going to then wiggle these together, and this is now attached. So even you can see like how much I can actually pull these because of how well attached they are. All right, and I mean, like, I could easily pull these apart, but that's just giving you a reference point for what I mean by scoring and attaching.
So looking at tools that you're going to want and your workspace, you really want a place where you can put your pot down where it's not going to mess it up. I have a cushion. I have some tools here for scoring. You're going to want access to water. I have a spray bottle, a water bucket. You can also use slip, and this is clay that I have mixed up in a blender. So when you're looking at your pot, you want a pot that you've finished footing, or you're done with the bottom. Usually handles are one of the last things I do before I set them out to completely dry. So let's go over kind of like where you want your pottery at as far as like the stage it's in. Leather hard is kind of like a broad term. Now what I mean by leather hard is if I was to hold my pot, you can see like it's not really messing up. I can hold it by the rim, and it's, for the most part, holding its shape. I can still like warp this pot a little bit, make fine adjustments. It gives you kind of a gauge of where the clay's at. And then the handle, I pull these handles and I let them sit on a work board and allow them to dry up kind of like this. That allows air to go under, and they set up kind of quickly. This has probably been sitting for maybe about 45 minutes, and then I put a bag over them to kind of slow down the drying. But I can hold the handle and move it around, and you see how it's holding its shape. Now we're going to go over the steps on how to actually attach something. Deciding what you want your handle to look like. I generally want the handle to go directly into the cup with the bottom being flat against it. So you're going to shape your handle, or finish shaping it. For me, that's perfect. And then I'll take and score the cup, and I want to make sure that this is straight up and down. I take a little bit of slip. No, I'm not going to score the handle. I just dab it in a little bit of slip, slip, and then I'll attach it to the handle directly. Now, I give it a good squeeze, and I'm going to also wiggle it. And so once I've wiggled it, if I give it a good pull, or even I can hold it by the handle right now, so that lets you know that you've actually done a good job of attaching. And I will do the same thing down here. I just give it a good press down, and then you're going to make sure that your handle doesn't go under the mug or too far past where the rim is. And then I make sure that it's straight. So if you look at this, that handle is not straight right now. I'm gonna come back in and do my best to straighten up that handle. You can see now that the handle's a little bit more straight, I can keep working that and get it to be perfect. It's kind of up to you whether or not you want to smooth out like these little spots right here. It will add a little bit of structural strength, but really where you want the majority of the hold coming from is where you scored it. So really take your time. Make sure that you give it some pressure and it actually holds. You can see that I'm just holding the cup. Where I pick the handle is going to depend on a few things. One, depends on whether or not I think there's going to be a better area to drink out of on the top of where the rim is. And the second would be like if you've already done like a logo or some kind of decorative attachment. I always like that to have it be facing off the right side. So if I attached the handle here, right, the logo would be facing out. Most people are right-handed, so I always do logo facing out for right-handed people. So talking about some trouble areas or problems that are going to happen, generally speaking, if you didn't do a good job, the handle's going to pop off. If the mug or the handle is too dry, they won't accept each other. And you'll know that because once it's completely dry, generally speaking, you'll get a crack right along this seam right here. Same down here, you'll get a crack. And there's no way to fix that. Throw the whole mug before you fire it into reclaim, and that way you don't waste the clay. You sometimes will have it where the handle just pops off when you put it under load. So like you take it out of the kiln and you pick it up by the handle and then the mug falls off. That's mostly because you didn't do a good job compressing things and really testing it now. If I hold it like this, that is going to stay on forever and I'm never going to have any problems. I wanted to say thank you guys for watching, and before you leave, I just wanted to show you what the cup looks like when it was completely dry, and you can see what the attachment site looks like, and I don't have any cracks or anything like that. Generally speaking, I have a really good success rate with the attachment of my handles. And then if you guys ever have any questions, feel free to ask or shoot me a comment or message me, and I'd love to help you guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you got something out of this, subscribing or hitting the like button does help me and lets me know that you guys appreciate what I'm doing. Thank you.